Happy Thursday, everybody. March 6, 2014. Dr. Peter Glidden coming at you live here from the heartland of the United States. It's a snowy, wintry, wondery land that we live in. Third snowiest winter here. Things are going on all over the world like this. If you have any thoughts about what's causing this, give me a shout. We can talk about that, too. Today is Metaphysical Thursday. Shout out to the commander before we start here. The commander, also known as Mark Denning, RN, a.k.a. the commander, the chief, and the chef, and the bottle washer of Wellness Warriors, the Facebook group Wellness Warriors. If you are a member of Youngevity, regardless of which group you are in, regardless of whose downline you are in, if you would like support about the health stuff that Youngevity talks about, that we talk about inside of Youngevity, visit Wellness Warriors. There's no membership fee. It's an open-ended thing. Anybody can just join Wellness Warriors. You don't even have to be a Youngevity member. And it's a great forum for support. You know, holy smokes, I'm trying to be gluten-free. What do I have for breakfast? What do I have for lunch? What am I going to do? Why does the OsteoFX, make me grow an 11th finger, right? Just post your question at Wellness Warriors. It's a lot of fun, a lot of support, and you get to hang out with like-minded people. That's the commander that did that all by himself, and that's the type of dedication that drives us forward every single solitary day. Now, on Metaphysical Thursdays, we take a little step outside of the normal box, and actually, we don't. Actually, what we do here is we open up the normal box. We open up rooms inside the normal box that have previously been closed that we didn't even know were there. Metaphysical phenomena are phenomena which are not able to be defined nor explained by the laws of science. For instance, consciousness itself is a metaphysical phenomenon. If you have ever told anybody that you love them, that is a metaphysical phenomenon, because emotions are non-quantifiable. And, as far as an MD is concerned, an emotion is just a manifestation of biochemistry, and that if you say you love somebody, you're just fooling yourself, because it's just a biochemical thing that's happening in your brain, and you're deluded, basically. You're experiencing a biochemical fugue, which messes with the way that you feel. You can't prove that you love somebody, can you? Can't do it. You can't prove that you love your mother. You can't prove it. Prove it. How are you going to do that? You can't. Because you can't prove it, therefore it falls into the realm of metaphysics. And, metaphysics is everywhere all of the time, but we haven't been taught about it like this. We think that it has something to do with voodoo, and it has something to do with Ouija boards, and it has something to do with psychic phenomenon and talking to the dead and clairvoyance. And, these things are all, in fact, metaphysical. But the real root of metaphysics is the stuff that happens inside the human body every day, all of the time. All of the trillions of biochemical reactions that are happening in your body every minute of every day are guided by something. What are they guided by? And, when you die, the biochemistry of your body is the same as it was before you died. 60 seconds after you die, the biochemistry is the same, so why does the body stop functioning? If it's all just, biochemicals, a biochemical dance, and it's just a chemical soup, then why can't you mix all of the chemicals that constitute a human body into a pot and make a human being? You can't. Because there's a vital force. There's a metaphysical energy. There's a spirit energy, which is inside your body, which is navigating the show, which is orchestrating everything that happens in the body all of the time. Health itself, consciousness itself, life itself, is in fact a metaphysical phenomenon. Your body has intelligence. Where did that intelligence come from? It came from the spirit world. That's where it came from. It's divine. It's of divine nature. And if you don't believe in God, I can't help you. I just can't help you. Now, we're going to talk about, metaphysical phenomena show up everywhere in the world. Today we're going to talk about homeopathy and the way that the homeopathic medicines are made on Metaphysical Thursday here. So, homeopathy is one distinct medical system. It's one distinct system of holistic medicine, right? Under the umbrella of holistic medicine, there are many different medical disciplines. There's homeopathy. There's herbalism. There's Ayurveda. There's traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. There's chiropractic. There's naturopathic. There's medical nutrition, etc., etc., etc. There are many different schools of thought, medical disciplines, underneath the umbrella of holistic medicine. The only medical discipline which is underneath the umbrella of reductionistic medicine, which is the opposite of holistic medicine. It's like the North Pole and the South Pole. They're opposite. Reductionistic medicine, there's only one school of medical thought that's underneath the umbrella of reductionism, and that's allopathic medicine, what your MD practices. Your MD doesn't practice medicine. Nobody does. Your MD practices allopathic medicine, which is reductionistic. I practice naturopathic medicine, which is holistic. There's also another type of medicine called homeopathy, homeopathic medicine. That's also holistic. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now here on Metaphysical Thursday, the 6th day of March 2014. Now, homeopathic medicine is over 200 years old. It started in Germany in the late 1700s. And it had still engenders a worldwide following. In the Spanish flu outbreak after World War I, homeopathic hospitals in Europe, and there used to be homeopathic hospitals, there aren't anymore because the pharmaceutical companies kicked them out. The homeopathic hospitals had an 85% success rate, an 85% cure rate of the Spanish flu, which killed hundreds of millions. It decimated a big chunk of the world's population. A big chunk of the world's population died from the Spanish flu. The MDs had a 15% success rate. The homeopaths had an 85% success rate, right? The homeopathic medical profession has not fared well politically. The homeopathic medical profession has been unorganized politically, and they were unable to put up with the pressure exerted upon them by the pharmaceutical industry at the turn of the 20th century in a coup that was orchestrated by the Rockefellers and the Carnegies when they monopolized the practice of medicine and kicked everybody but the MDs off of the bus of legalized medicine. The homeopaths couldn't compete. But homeopathy is an age-old, over 200 years old, medical discipline. It's a medical discipline. And homeopathy argues a number of different things. There are 5 laws of homeopathic medicine, 5 laws which define and describe how a homeopathic physician interfaces with somebody who is sick. One of the laws of homeopathy is called the law of potentization. The law of potentization. It defines how a homeopathic medicine is prepared. Now, the law of potentization apparently flies in the face of physics, because when you prepare a medicine homeopathically, you dilute it so much that the chances of even one atom of the existing, the substance that you started with existing in the final solution are infinite, which means you've diluted the crap out of it and there isn't any more material substance left. It's just not there. However, an extremely diluted homeopathic medicine produces physiological change in biological systems. It produces physiological change in biological systems. But because it flies in the face of our current understanding of physics, reductionistic MDs dismiss it as placebo. Which is just this side of nonsense, and it should make you even less respectful of your medical doctor, because they do not have a grounding in open-minded scientific inquiry. You know, when we were kids, we all watched bumblebees fly, right? I'm in my mid-50s. When I was a kid, I could see bumblebees fly. I could see bumblebees fly. I knew bumblebees could fly. People in the Civil War could see that bumblebees fly. Cavemen could see that bumblebees fly. Bumblebees fly. But it was not until March 20th, 2000, that science figured out, finally, how, in fact, the bumblebee could do it. Because according to the laws of aerodynamics, according to the laws of physics, the bumblebee's body is too big to fly. The wings are too small. Can't do it. It's supposed to be impossible until March 20th, 2000, for a bumblebee to fly. Now, did scientists go around saying, oh, no, bumblebees don't fly. It's an illusion. Don't look over there. The bumblebee can't possibly be flying. It's all done with smoke and mirrors, and bumblebees don't really fly. No. Even though they did not know the mechanism, you could see that bumblebees flew, and it was just a matter of time until somebody figured it out. Well, on March 20th, 2000, Cornell University physicist J. Zane Wang completed a computer modeling simulation showing that insect flight conforms to the laws of aerodynamics. The computer simulation showed that the rapidly oscillating wings of insects, bumblebees, created vortices of air that provided the extra lift necessary for them to break the chains of gravity. So it wasn't until we had computers that we could figure out the mechanism through which bumblebees could fly. But scientists did not go around saying, oh no, bumblebees don't fly, but that's exactly what they do with homeopathy. Because they don't understand the mechanism, they dismiss it as folly. And that is exactly the opposite of an open-minded scientific inquiry. It is mental prejudice, plain and simple. Brought to you by your allopathic MD. More to come on Metaphysical Thursday. Stick around. Talking about all things holistic all of the time. So, here's the deal. Homeopathic medicine is diluted. So if I were to make homeopathic medicine from gold, if I were to make a homeopathic medicine from gold, here's what I would do. I would get some gold, make sure that it was as pure as it could be. I would get it, pulverize it into a powdered form. I would put it into an alcohol solution, and I would let it sit for a number of days. Then I would pour off a little bit of that alcohol, and I would mix 1 drop of the gold alcohol, the alcohol that the gold was sitting into. I would mix 1 drop of that alcohol that was mixed in with the gold with 99 drops of water, or 99 drops of alcohol in this case. And then I would take 1 drop of that and mix it with 99 drops of alcohol. And then I would take 1 drop of that and I would mix it with 99 drops of alcohol. And by the time I did that 13 times, I would have gone beyond Avogadro's number, which is a chemical term for how many atoms of something are in something. So nobody disputes in the homeopathic world that the homeopathic medicines are diluted beyond Avogadro's number. We don't. We know that they are. But what the allopathic reductionistic MD argues is that the medicines are so dilute that they can't possibly work because they're so dilute. And they completely overlook the fact that they work all of the time. Spanish flu. 85% of the homeopathic patients were cured. 15% of the MD patients were cured. Which is better? The homeopathy is. Now, why do you think the pharmaceutical industry has a problem with this? Well, if I can make a medicine, let's say I'm making a homeopathic medicine from an herb, belladonna. Foxglove is the common name, belladonna. It's a fantastic medicine for migraine headaches, by the way, belladonna. So what do? I go out into the field, I pick some belladonna. I don't even need the whole plant. I just need some of the petals and the stamens. But if I want to be really good, I'll just pick 1 whole plant of belladonna. I'll uproot it. I'll mash it up in a blender, and I'll let it sit with alcohol for a couple weeks. It's called an alcohol extract, and the alcohol extracts the active ingredients from the plant. Then I take 1 drop of that, and I mix it with 99 drops of alcohol, and 1 drop of that, and mix it with 99 drops of alcohol. This means that the medicine itself is unbelievably expensive, because from 1 belladonna plant, I could make 10,000 different homeopathic preparations. They are unbelievably inexpensive, which is exactly the opposite of pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals deliver a material dose. Homeopathic medicines deliver an immaterial dose. Now, nobody knows the mechanism through which the homeopathic medicine works, and because the MD is so unbelievably closed-minded, they say, oh, no, the bumblebee can't fly. That's impossible. Oh, no, the homeopathy doesn't work. That's impossible, but it does work. What they should do is attempt to discover the mechanism through which homeopathy works. When somebody discovers scientifically the mechanism through which a diluted homeopathic medicine works, it will be a breakthrough, a scientific breakthrough on par with the discovery of germs by Louis Pasteur. It will be a remarkable turning point in the evolution of medicine. Same thing with acupuncture. When somebody proves beyond a shadow of a doubt scientifically that the acupuncture meridians are real and that the acupuncture needles affect changes in the energy flow in the body, that'll be a breakthrough of major significance. But, this research isn't done because the medical industry is controlled by the drug companies, and the drug companies don't want anything to do with homeopathy, and they lambaste it and lampoon it all of the time. The next time you see a derogatory comment about homeopathy, think to yourself, son of a gun, I wonder if that guy knows if bumblebees fly. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, the amount of closed-mindedness which exists inside of the field of science. You'd think it would be exactly the opposite, but it is not. One more reason to fire your MD, because their therapeutics are delivered through a mind which is closed. When you have a closed mind, you have incomplete therapeutics, and when you have incomplete therapeutics, death and destruction and heartbreak follows in your wake. The leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medicine. The leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medicine. Fire your MD. Fire your MD now, and give us a call instead. Florida's up next. Stick around. Hypocrisy is everywhere, especially in conventional scientific circles, which is one of the reasons why we're leaving everybody in the dust, because we bring to the table therapeutics which are 100% in keeping with the reality of what it is to be a human being. We know what it means to bring someone into a state of health. We know how to do it, and we do it. Therefore, our therapeutics are more effective, because our therapeutics support and promote the body's ability to reach a healthy conclusion, while the MD's therapeutics just manages the patient into death. Now, hypocrisy is everywhere, right? So people who descry homeopathy will say, oh, it's all placebo. It can't be placebo. It can't be real. The bumblebee can't fly. It's all just placebo. Even though homeopathy works on animals, oh, it's still placebo. Even though homeopathy only works when the correct prescription, when the correct medicine is given. I could have quintuplets, all with exactly the same genetics. Exactly the same genetics. They could all have an ear infection, otitis media. And each one of them would need a different homeopathic medicine. Each one would need a different homeopathic medicine, probably, in order to recover under the influence of the homeopathic medicine. The homeopathic medicine only works when it's prescribed with 100% exactitude. So you give a little infant the wrong remedy, nothing happens. You give the little infant the wrong remedy, nothing happens. You give the little infant the right remedy, the earache goes away. Same thing with adults. How could that be placebo? It's not. Meanwhile, the stuff that really is placebo, the MDs deny. Got a seatbelt? Fasten it up. I'm reading an abstract now from a book entitled Bypassing Bypass Surgery by Elmer Cranton, M.D. Elmer M. Cranton, M.D. How about that? An M.D. that got it right. Copyright 2005, Elmer M. Cranton. This chapter, entitled Chapter 16, What You Should Know About Bypass Surgery and Angioplasty. What you should know about bypass surgery and angioplasty. And I quote, in 1950, a seemingly miraculous remedy captured attention. Surgeons developed a new operation called internal mammary artery ligation, which involved surgically tying off the mammary artery, which carries blood to the exterior chest wall. Because this artery is located near the heart, surgeons hoped this action would force more blood to flow through other arteries in the vicinity, including coronary arteries, and ease the pain of angina. Results exceeded the most optimistic expectations. Remarkably, up to 90% of the patients reported either total pain relief or dramatic symptom improvement. The operation, hailed as a miraculous advance, was widely advocated by many members of the medical profession. Enthusiasm mounted, angina victims lined up. Surgeons maintained 3-month waiting lists. The operation's effectiveness went unquestioned and untested for almost 10 years. But then, as now, there were skeptics within the medical community. There was too much enthusiasm to suit some discerning physicians who doubted the procedure deserved such universal acclaim, inasmuch as it had a dubious scientific rationale. The doubters arranged to verify the surgery's effectiveness with a research protocol, which would be unacceptable under today's more rigid ethical standards. They set out to test the procedure by dividing surgical candidates into 2 groups, each equally afflicted with angina. All of the patients were told that they were to undergo ligation surgery and went through identical hospital protocols with only one important difference. One group did have the ligation operation, while the control group was taken into the operating room, anesthetized, and then subjected to a sham operation. Their chests were opened, then closed. When they awoke, they were told their operations had been successful. To the astonishment of the entire medical community, the surgeons included, both groups reported relief from pain of angina and increased tolerance to exercise. That includes the people who had the sham operation. But the group that had undergone the sham surgery fared better than those who had undergone the genuine operation. It was the first time medical researchers proved that placebo effect extends to heart surgery. And not surprisingly, when word got out, the number of operations plummeted. Same thing happens, by the way, with bypass surgery. It's been proven it's the placebo effect. Well, why do they still do bypass surgery? Money, baby, money. So on the one hand, they'll tell you, trust your surgeon, you got to have the surgical procedure. They won't tell you that's placebo, even though it is. And on the other hand, they'll tell you, that bumblebee can't fly, that homeopathy, it's all placebo. What's backwards and inside out and upside down. Honest to God, whatever your MD tells you to do, do exactly the opposite and you will fare better. They tell you not to eat salt, which is ridiculous. You should take a bath in salt every day. Lay down on a bed of salt. Eat as much salt as you can humanly ingest. Salt is of maximum importance for the health of the human organism. Of maximum importance. That's where the word salary came from, by the way. Roman soldiers, at one point in history, were paid their body weight in salt. Then hence the term salary. Isn't that interesting? Medical doctors will tell you that heartburn is caused by too much stomach acid. It's not. It's caused by not enough stomach acid. Medical doctors will give you antacid and proton pump inhibitors to completely eliminate the digestive acid that is in your stomach, thereby eliminating the symptoms. But that messes up digestion, which leads to all number of malabsorption issues, which increases and accelerates the evolution of chronic diseases. Fire your MD now. Your medical doctor will tell you that restless leg syndrome is caused by your legs. That the reason you have restless legs at night is because you have legs. Well, no, it's not. It's because you have a calcium and a magnesium deficiency. You take calcium and magnesium, and guess what? No more restless legs. Your MD will tell you that high blood pressure is caused by, your blood vessels. They've just gone south. They've gone bad, but it's not. Most of the time, high blood pressure is caused by a calcium and a magnesium deficiency, period. There are other causes, but the most common cause is not enough calcium and magnesium. Guess what? You take enough calcium into your body, enough magnesium into your body, enough of the supportive nutrients that your body needs to metabolize calcium and magnesium, and guess what? No more high blood pressure. Your medical doctor will tell you that Alzheimer's is caused by the aging process, which is nonsense. When I was a kid, Alzheimer's was non-existent. Now it's risen to the 6th most common cause of death. The 6th most common cause of death in the United States. Again, I'm in my mid-50s. I don't know anybody that had Alzheimer's when I was a kid. Now it's the 6th leading cause of death. By the way, Alzheimer's skyrocketed in the mid-80s. Came out of nowhere and shot up into the stratosphere. Interesting thing, in exactly the same time frame that Alzheimer's skyrocketed, one drug was released to the market. The drug to cure humanity, statin drugs, cholesterol-lowering statin drugs, were released to the marketplace. 3 years before, Alzheimer's skyrocketed. Funny thing about statin drugs, cholesterol-lowering drugs, guess what? They lower cholesterol. Funny thing about Alzheimer's, 95% of the part of the brain that's affected by Alzheimer's is made from cholesterol. We are of the belief that statin drugs cause Alzheimer's. Your medical doctor, of course, denies this because they do not have any concern for what causes disease. We talked about that yesterday. Your medical doctor will tell you that arthritis and bad joints are caused just by life. You got a bad shoulder because you got a shoulder. It's only a matter of time until your shoulder gets worn out, because that's just life. Things get old and decay. Meanwhile, they'll tell you the same thing about osteoporosis, but they'll give you a drug for that, because osteoporosis is a thinning of the bone, so they'll give you a drug that stops your body from chewing up old bone. Because your body does chew up old bone all the time, and guess what? Your body lays down new bone at the same time. So if the body's getting rid of the old stuff and putting down new stuff, how is it possible for the bone to get old and decay? How is that possible? Because you have a stupid medical doctor. That's why. It's only possible when your body runs out of the raw materials it needs to lay down new bone. Your car runs out of gas, it stops. Your body just can't make bone nutrients out of thin air. Again, your medical doctor is a walking, talking hypocrite. You need to fire them. The only thing they're good for is trauma care and surgery when it's absolutely necessary. But most of the time, surgery isn't necessary. But when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so guess what? The MD's going to tell you to cut and burn, because that's what they do. And they'll tell you everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. Your medical doctor will tell you that insomnia is caused by a disruption in the chemicals in your brain. What? I mean, there are biochemicals that are involved, but your medical doctor will tell you it's a disruption in the biochemistry, but they won't tell you what causes that disruption. They won't tell you what causes the disruption in the biochemistry, because they just think it's inevitable. It's life. Shut up and deal with it. Most of the time, insomnia, again, is caused by a calcium and a magnesium deficiency. If you have trouble falling asleep, it's because you have a calcium and a magnesium deficiency, most probably. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're wide awake, it's because your body is improperly metabolizing blood sugar. And the sugar that entered into your bloodstream after dinner didn't get taken up into the cells until 3 a.m. Because there's a log jam there. There's a traffic jam. It's a 5-lane highway gone down to half a lane. You're driving on the shoulder, 5 lanes down to the shoulder. Things are going to get backed up. It's going to take a while before the sugar can actually get into the cell, and when it does, you wake up. This isn't rocket science. But again, remember, your MD doesn't give a damn. They do not care about what causes disease. Their job is to manage the results of disease and tell you that you are screwed unless you take a drug. Now, remember, it ain't the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. Thank God for morphine, right? Thank God for Novocaine. But when the MD uses their therapeutics, we suffer and we die. But first we go bankrupt. And then, irony of ironies, our relatives, who are so grief-stricken at the suffering that we've been through and our untimely death, get together and organize a 5K run on our behalf. They raise $300,000 and give it to the MDs. Yeah. You gotta be kidding me. We rattle our chains to celebrate our freedom. We rattle our prescription medications to celebrate our ill health. And we celebrate the physicians under whose tutelage we have become the sickest nation in the world. It's time for a change, ladies and gentlemen. You need to wake up. You need to wake your relatives up because old man MD is coming for you. Mandatory now, you have to buy insurance to go see him, right? Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. There's much more to come. No more doom and gloom today. We're taking it to the streets, taking it to the phones as soon as we come back. Herman from Florida is up, followed by Christy from Montana. Stick around. 844-374-5433. That's a new number. Toll free, 844-Dr. Glidden, 844-374-5433. Let's go to Florida and see what Herman's up to. Hey, Herman, thanks for holding on. You are live.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
Okay, so far.
All right. Thanks for the call. How can I help?
Yeah, I'm calling about polycystic kidneys.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the doctor, and they said my 2 kidneys full with polyps.
Yeah.
And they are telling me I'll have to do dialysis because the kidneys just functioning 15%.
Okay. So how do you feel?
Right now I'm feeling okay.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 62.
Okay, so I think there might be a problem with terminology here. Is it cyst? Is it polycystic kidneys?
Yes.
Polycystic kidneys. All right. So here's the deal. You were born with polycystic kidneys.
Okay.
But cysts in the kidney happen because of a birth defect. You've had cysts in your kidneys your entire life, and your body has been dealing with it. And, you know, it's the type of a thing where you won't know that it's a problem. You won't even know that it's there until you go, you know, if you have your stomach x-rayed or you have your lungs x-rayed or you have some type of ultrasound somewhere else in the body, and they see in the background a funky-looking kidney, and then they do a CT or an MRI on the kidney, and they say, oh, my.
That's what they do. Yeah.
All right, that's what happened, right? So from our point of view, the problem with the kidney function is not the cysts, because they've been there your entire life and you've been fine. The problem with the kidney function is the blood supply in and to the kidney.
Okay.
So from our point of view, the cysts are irrelevant. However, the kidney needs support because your kidney function is down to 15%. So what we do is take a look at it. We say, well, what are the most common things to cause the kidneys to get funky? What are the most common things that cause the blood vessels in the kidney to get all clogged and jammed up? Well, the most common thing is consistent consumption of foods that are inappropriate for the human body and which create inflammation. So you've been eating all the wrong foods all the time. But it's not your fault. It's your medical doctor's fault. It's General Mills' fault and Monsanto's fault, because you've been given the wrong advice about which foods are good to eat and which aren't your entire life. So the first thing that you need to do is stop eating foods which are harmful to the body. There are 10 of them. And you can get the list of the 10 bad foods for free at my website. So just visit my website, please, fireyourmdnow.com. fireyourmdnow.com. And right there on the front page, you can sign up for my newsletter. And when you sign up for my newsletter, it's free, by the way, free, you get a list of the 10 bad foods. So you need to stop eating the 10 bad foods immediately, number one. Number two, you need to give your body raw materials that it can use to optimize its function, and in this case, its structure. Now, the recommendation is, how much do you weigh right now?
Right now, I'm weighing 165.
165. All right, so here's what I would do for 6 months. Every month, I would do 1 anti-aging healthy start pack. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack. 4 selenium. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. It's 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and 1 bottle of something called Ultimate Daily Capsules. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. Plus, eliminate the 10 bad foods. And also, it would not hurt you to get something called Z-Radical. Get as much Z-Radical as you can afford. 1, 2, 3, or 4 bottles a month of Z-Radical. So that's Z like zebra. Z-Radical, Ultimate Daily, Selenium, and the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack. Now, get with the person who told you about this radio show.
Yeah, could I call her name?
Yeah. What's her name?
It's Darlene Dale.
Okay, great. So get in touch with her, because she'll tell you how to get this stuff at the wholesale price. She'll also tell you how to take it. She'll hold your hand and walk you right through the process, and that's how we do it. And, you got to keep a weather eye on your kidney function. But, I would not immediately do dialysis. I would do medical nutrition first, clean up your diet, take the nutritional supplements, keep your fingers crossed, and see what happens. Thanks so much for the phone call. Hour 2 coming up, folks. Stick around.